Hey GTS fam, in this video we will be reviewing the RX-78-2 Gundam EFSF Prototype Close Combat Mobile Suit. Perfect grade unleashed.
This video is powered by Planmod Distributors Inc. Planmod is the official Bandai distributor for all of Canada. Planmod provides a wide and diverse catalog of official branded products, including but not limited to Bandai, God Hand, Mr. Hobby, and more. Make sure your local Canadian hobby store is being provided with the best and latest products by ordering from Planmod.
So here it is. This is the PG RX-78-2 Unleashed, and there's my cat. This is what you're going to get out of the box. This is out of the box build. We're going to go a little bit into details and everything later on in the video, but I just wanted to show you what you would see the moment that you're finished building it. It's a beautiful kit, to be honest. I really can't complain much about it, but we're gonna be doing a little bit something different today, seeing as with the situation with the pandemic, we can't really meet up, so I don't have my trusty editor with me, I don't have Derek with me, Alina isn't here, I'm alone. And we're also doing something different. So today I have a little paper over here, so if you see me glancing over, it's because there's a lot to go over about this kit. Just so much that my mind couldn't really wrap itself around it. So we're gonna have fun with that. So the first thing we're gonna talk about, I'm just gonna leave the kit here and I'll just point to certain things. So let me get my little trusty pointer. The beam saber. These are really big beam sabers. Anyway. So out of the box, the presentation, it's gorgeous. I mean, it's beautiful. There's really nothing I can complain, like I said. I mean, it's a work of art. Bandai, you have really done something amazing here, and I hope that you keep up with it. I mean, look at it. Out of the box, you have all this detail. I'm sure that up here on screen, you'll probably have some B-roll footage, courtesy of Brian. Man, that guy knows how to post, doesn't he? Let's do a real quick size comparison. Sasabi for scale, courtesy of Old School over there. So we have the Sasabi and the PG Unleashed over here. So he's a pretty big boy. I mean, it is the RX-78-2. You know, cannon wise, he's normally 18 meters tall, so he isn't the tallest Gundam, and he is a granddaddy after all. Then you have the Sasabi. This is master grade form. So imagine, yeah, hopefully one day Bandai makes a Sasabi PG, please. Anyway, we're gonna go to the build process. So this kit was built with, I built it along with my wife. My wife helped me by cutting out pieces and sanding certain things. She even helped me putting some things together, which is really awesome because it's normally me who knows how to put things together better. But this time she kind of outclassed me, so thanks for that. So the build process, very easy. I'm gonna say that straight off the bat. It is a very easy, perfect grade to really wrap your hands around. The main reason being the manual. I mean, the manual for this kit is just amazing. It's basically a magazine. You can find obviously everything here and more. But the main thing about this, and the point that I really want to get across, is this is a very beginner-friendly kit. The reason I say it's beginner-friendly is because, for one, this only took around 6 hours while we were watching 3 movies, so we were a little bit distracted. There was sanding. I did sand it down with a glass file, courtesy of Display. The instructions have certain parts that tell you when a runner is completely done with all the parts that you could or can cut out of it. You also have the fact that the instructions are super clear. They've always been clear. Bandai has always been super amazing at telling you how to do things. They mess up sometimes, but not this time around. I also want to mention that the instructions, when it comes to like telling you when to toss out a certain runner, I really hope that they implement this whole idea of being super clear of when to throw out runners to master grade, real grade, high grade, anything, because it just helps. It's so nice to be like, okay, I don't have to ever use this again, so I can just toss it out, put it aside. I really hope they do that. Another thing of the build process that I really enjoyed was the finish on some of these pieces. There are certain pieces that I didn't necessarily like the way they look, so I'm speaking mainly about the chromed out pieces, like for the hands that you'll see up on camera right now. But what I did enjoy a lot of that was, like, for example, the champagne colored ones. So I don't know what color exactly these are, but you'll see them on the gun more than anything, and also on the Vulcans, on the head, and some parts of the joints. Those, Bandai, if you're listening, you need to make more of that. That right there is top grade quality. Like, that's what you pay for when you get this kit. Like, if they were to implement that kind of metallic finish to a lot of more things, I'd be super happy. Now, speaking of metallics, we do have some photo etch here, and we also have some metal pieces. Now, there are not a lot of them, but they do exist. The photo etch is actually very cool. I've seen other reviewers talk about it and how to use it and how it can fall off very easily, but I think a lot of them missed out on the fact that the photo etch actually comes with 2 layers. So one layer is this green part that protects it, and then you have the other layer, which is a very clear transparent. The green will look outward, and then the transparent one is the one that sticks to the person. So you have to take off that clear masking on it, the little protective layer, and then you can put the photo etch on it and it'll stick nicely. Just make sure to cover that photo etch immediately. It isn't the strongest glue in the world, but it works to hold it in place for you to put the protective plastic part, the armor part. So you can see them here. You have some over here. You have 4 of them actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the back. So really do keep that in mind. You have to peel off both sides, all right, not just one. The reason I say this is because the really clear one, Bandai used like the thinnest material known to man, and I didn't even notice it until my wife told me, hey, you can actually just stick them on there. And I was like, oh, I didn't know this existed, but apparently it does. One last thing that I'm gonna mention when it comes to the build process is the whole face gimmick thing. So the way that Bandai marketed this was that the RX-78-2 was gonna be built upon faces. Phase 1 and Phase 2 don't really exist by themselves, they exist together. What this means is that once you finish Phase 2, you already did Phase 1, but you never really know when you finished Phase 1. In the booklet, it'll tell you when you're starting a certain phase, but I love how it just says here, Phase 1 to Phase 2. So basically Phase 1 and Phase 2 are one phase. When I mentioned this to the guys, I know Brian said Phase 1 is basically buy the kit, and I think he's right, because Phase 1 is non-existent. It just immediately, they combine. Now Phase 3 is awesome. That's when you're done with, well, for one, Phase 2 is basically the skeleton. Phase 3 is when you put on the, did I just say skeleton? Technically, the frame is the skeleton of the Gundam, so I am right in some way. But Phase 2, so Phase 1 and Phase 2 are basically the frame completely finished. Then Phase 3 is when you add the plated armor parts that go underneath. So you get all the chrome, you get all the nice, really cool finishes that I was talking about earlier. Then you go to Phase 4, and Phase 4, once you finish Phase 4, this is Phase 4. This isn't even Phase 5. This is Phase 4. Phase 5 isn't really anything regarding building. It's more of the open gimmick, the open hatch stuff that you'll see later on. But this is basically Phase 4. So yeah, that's what you're basically doing. And it's really awesome. I really like the whole face idea. I do wish it was a little bit more distinctive when it comes to Phase 1, Phase 2. But it'd be really awesome if Bandai were to also bring that over to the Master Grade series, even just the Master Grade. I don't think you could really do it with the real grade because they're smaller and with high grades. But a Master Grade, I think, could really take advantage of that. I love the frames on a lot of kits, but this is one of the only frames that I really fell in love with when I was building it, aside from like the Barbatos, which came out all the way in December of 2019, January 2020, wherever it is that you actually were able to get it. But this frame is just gorgeous. The whole face idea of actually seeing yourself build it upon layers, awesome. Would I recommend for you to take it off, take off these armor bits? You probably can. They're pretty easy to take off. I've done it. I'm not going to do it on camera right now, but you can do it. I would probably only advise against that when it comes to the shield, the sides. If you pull them off, you might break them. But everything else on the kit you can definitely take apart with no problems, especially if you want to see that beautiful frame. But hey, you want to see that beautiful frame, all you have to do is follow the instructions on the booklet and go to Phase 5, which is the open hatch gimmick. Let's go into Posability. So now we talked about the build process and we talked about all the parts. Let's talk about Posability. It's a perfect grade. It's big, Is it postable? Yes, it is. It's definitely postable. You can get some nice footwork. You can do a lot of things. I know you probably already saw some poses because, like I said, Brian is a master of posing. So you already got some beautiful B-roll footage of him being posed. Point is, you can do a lot with him. You can even do the splits if you wanted. Look at that. Are you kidding me? A PG doing this? That's awesome. So Posability, 10 out of 10 on this kit. Of course, I think one of the parts that's really gonna kind of hinder that part, or I don't know, it's how people perceive things, but since it's big and bulky, it's gonna seem a lot less postable than it really is. But it is. I mean, you can play around with it, you can make it go down on the knees and do the whole pose and so many more things. I'm sure, like I said, you're seeing a bunch of them. So Posability, it's there, it exists. Color separation, let's get started on color separation. I'm a sucker for color separation, okay? You got different shades of blue, even on the chest. You have different shades of red right here immediately. You have different shades of white. You have some gray, you have some black. You have different, like I said, champagne colored metal bits or metal finishes. Then you actually do have metal pieces in the back, which you guys haven't seen. These right here are metal pieces on themselves. Really awesome quality when it comes to the plastic, and color separation, it's there. It works, it's amazing. You did an awesome job, Bandai, God. But part separation, oh my God, is there something this kit can't do? The part separation also exists, hence the open hatch. I mean, the level of detail in this kit is so awesome. But kind of segueing into the next topic, which is, should you paint it? Is it customizable? For a lot of people it is. If you're a master at customizing, you can do whatever you want. I mean, people have customized even the most detailed kits in the past. This is no different. But I feel it does require a level of mastery when it comes to detailing to really add more to this kit. Remember, more isn't always better. But if you know how to kind of pronounce these already paneled lined parts, then awesome. Maybe rescribing, awesome. Adding more, certain people will be able to do it. It's not something that you really want to go into thinking, oh, I'm gonna go scribe it. Painting wise, I feel like you can paint it. Of course, you can paint anything, but I do feel with the whole gimmick of open hatch, it might kind of mess with certain things in the sense that things are gonna be really tight. So remember, when you paint, you add that extra layer of thickness. So you might end up messing a little bit with the open hatch. So let's talk about what you get when you buy this kit, because it comes with a lot of runners. I think it comes with like 50 runners. I know that may not be a lot for a lot of people who have been in this hobby for a long time, but it is a lot compared to like MGs and stuff that aren't for cost. So extras, here you go. You mind giving me a hand? All right, I suck. Anyway, you get all of these hands. You get 8 postable, did I just say postable? No, you get 8 fixed hands. And see, that's my gripe with it. So I'm basically nitpicking at this point because, like I said, there's basically nothing wrong with this kit. But I wished Bandai would have implemented some way of even just giving us the postable hands along with these. I mean, it's a PG, it's your top of the line grade. There's no reason why we shouldn't have postable hands. I mean, look at the Burka over here. Postable hands are important, and we've seen them before on PGs. Like for example, the Astray, the PG Red Astray, which is, I don't know how old it is, but it's pretty old. It has postable hands. They work well with the katanas. But this one has fixed hands. Now, am I complaining about the fixed hands? The fixed hands, you have all the fixed hands you will ever need. You have open palm, you have holding the beams, the beam rifle, you have holding the beam sabers, you have closed fist, you have all of them. But everybody wants to play with postable hands. Okay, maybe not everybody. I know that Sean out there doesn't like postable hands, but I do. So that is a subject, like I said, it's nitpicking because it's subjective. I would have wanted to see postable hands on this kit, or even, it's a PG, just give me both. Just give me fixed and postable. I'll pay the extra dime for it, like, come on. Anyway, this is what you get. You get all these postal hands. We already talked about them. They're awesome. They're really detailed. The chrome part is the part that I don't like. It does work though at the end of the day when you cover up with all the armor. It looks really nice. You get these beam savers. And you also get the beam saver holders. You get 3 of them. Now the reason you get 3 of them, and that may seem weird, is because 2 of them are your regular plastic, really awesomely detailed PG beam savers holders. But you also get this awesome one that actually functions as an LED. So this one right here turns on, and then when you put it on the backpack, it turns on the verniers at the bottom. So the metal pieces, the thrusters, you can actually see them. You will need a really dimly light area in order for you to be able to really admire them. So I'm not even gonna bother turning around and showing you, because I'm sure Brian will do me the favor of dimming down his lights when the B-roll footage and showing you guys this whole kit lit up. The core fighter. Now the core fighter is really cool. I love it. Only problem with me when it comes to the core fighter is that some of these pieces are really small, even for a PG, so they're kind of difficult, especially there's just like 2 small missiles that you have to get in there, and they're difficult to get in there. They're very small, like I said. So definitely keep an eye out on that. My complaint about the figurines, because you get 4 of them, you get 3 Amuros and you get 1 Sayla. The 3 Amuros, the main one here, the one that's out of the core fighter and out of the Gundam, he looks awesome. And then you get the pilots. For example, this guy here, he looks so weird with just the helmet. He looks like he's got a big head and super skinny like body. Even the one in here. So there's a core fighter. This one's a functioning core fighter. You can fly it around. Then you get this piece in here. So if I were to take him off, you get this guy right in here. That's another core fighter, but it doesn't have the wings or anything. You can just substitute it so you can have this one out for showcasing it. So there you go with that. Another thing that I really want to talk about with the extras is the beam rifle. The beam rifle is one of the most beautiful beam rifles I have ever seen. For one, you get a trigger that moves. 2, you have this beautiful champagne metal finish pieces that are on it. You can see them, and I'm sure we'll have some B-roll footage again of it. The chrome, like I said, I'm not really a fan of the chrome pieces over here, but this makes up for it in a lot of ways. You get the whole movement of it, so you can put it and post it however you want. And like I said, the trigger moving, like it's such a tiny detail, but when you really get to it, you're like, oh, that's really, really cool. The way to turn on the LEDs is really weird. You have to pull them out. You have to pull out the cockpit and push it back in. I think that's maybe one of the parts that I should mention they kind of messed up on. I feel like they could have made it a little bit easier, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, probably. I don't know. You have to pull it out, and then it says pull out and put in quickly. There it is. It worked. There it is. So there it is. You have it shining. Like I said, you can't really appreciate it with all these lights on, but that's what you get. You get a whole LED unit inside that points up and points to the sides because the grills here also turn on. Are we done with talking about this kit? No, we're not. The next thing that you get from the box that isn't plastic or plastic pieces are the sticker decals. Now, we all know the foil stickers. They exist, they will always exist, they're there. Can't really do anything about it. And to a certain degree, they work really well when it comes to giving like certain pieces of any mobile suit that little oomph, that little shiny part that's gonna make it look nice. So I can't really complain about that. And then you get metal stickers, like metal finish stickers. These I haven't added on, but you would add it to all the little parts that the book tells you to, and it'll look like it has the little lights on, especially if you have light shining on it. So definitely something these I can't complain about. But what can I complain about? Is this. Why are you giving us these ugly stickers, Bandai? You are doing yourself no favor when it comes to this kit. Now I know it already has a lot of details. There's a whole idea of balancing out details, and maybe a lot of people won't want to put a bunch of decals on him, but I do. I want to put all of these decals on him, but not in the sticker form. I want water decals. I want dry transfers. Give me something that isn't this sheet. It's a perfect grade. Don't give me stickers. And I think that's where it kind of comes to it. Like, I know and I understand that Maybe Bandai doesn't create their water decals. Maybe this, maybe that. But still, I have to go as a consumer of this beautiful hobby. I have to go to a third party and say, hey, give me water decals for the RX, which it's fine. It works, and most times are either better quality or worse quality, whatever it is. But for a PG to not have water decals, I kind of feel like it's a little bit of a letdown. I wish there would have been a little bit more thought put into that, because it's a beautiful kit, and just putting stickers on it, these ugly stickers that you can actually see the outlines of them. No, that doesn't work for me, but that's my only real downside for this kit. It's the fact that these stickers are even included. I don't know. But with the last thing, open hatch gimmicks. You can literally open hatch everything on this kit possibly. So that's basically what you get. That's phase 5. Once everything's up and opened, like for example over here on the helmet, like these parts here on the knees that would come down. I cut my nails so I don't, oh there we go. Just the implementation of them, I did that on purpose, by the way. It's awesome. It's layered, it looks great, and I'm probably gonna have this guy open hatched up here in the studio in my house so I can view it in all its glory. Okay, sorry. So my review is interrupted by this Jess to ask, well, what exactly is the lore with the RX-78-2? Kind of looks like a transformer.
Hey everyone, I got Gundam lore for a fact on this new Gundam, well, RX-78-2 Unleashed. So let's talk about a little bit on like Operation Victory, for example. Like if you haven't watched Gundam Origins or the original Gundam series, I would highly check it out. You'll get to see a little bit more about it. But to summarize really quickly, Temray, Amuro's dad, he sort of developed the Gundam plans to actually fight against the Zaku, which not just developed the Gundam, he developed the gun cannon and gun tank as well in Operation Victory. And before they started producing mass-produced types, which is like the GM, gun tank, gun cannon. Now, what makes something very unique about the original prototypes that Temray created? It had a core fighter. The core fighter actually has the onboard computer that made it super sophisticated to control, but easier for the pilots to maneuver in space, as well as guaranteeing the survivability of the pilot. Like seriously, it was part of it. So like if your suit is damaged so badly, like between the Gundam and also it showed in the last episode, you can actually jettison like the entire suit and still have the core fighter to allow your pilot to escape. So how cool is that? Sad news, unfortunately, the mass-produced types, you don't have that. But, well, what you gotta do on that side, on that army, but at least they're thoughtful that way. But there's Gundam lore.
So should you get an RX-78-2? Should you give Bandai your hard-earned money for this kit? Yes. Yes, you should. And you know what's another thing you should do? Is you should visit your local retailer, ask them if they're getting their kits from Plamont, the official distributor for Bandai in Canada, and ask them to get some of these guys so that way you can start building them and have them there.
Hey GTS fam, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, remember to subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you can see when we put something up immediately. And if you have any questions or comments for us, leave them down in the comments. I promise you that we're gonna read them. And I think we do that all the time. So yeah, we hope you guys take care, and we'll see you in the next one.